How y'all doing? Welcome back to Old Dog Woodshop. I'm Roger. We're here to do another project today. Something that, animal lovers out there throughout the world spend a lot of money on pets and animals, and they always come up with different ways to take care of them. One of the big things nowadays is birdhouse. You see on the internet everybody building birdhouses for sale everywhere. So I'm going to throw my take on the birdhouse. I'm going to build one today. We're going to be utilizing some leftover parts from cedar fence pickets. I know anybody that builds planters or anything like that, they got a bunch of leftover parts. Some people call that scrap wood, but it ain't really scrap wood, it's just unused wood. And during this build, we're also going to be utilizing coffee cans. Got a lot of these plastic Folgers coffee cans around because I'm a good connoisseur of coffee. And I'll show you a little bit here. I got one or two stuck up there on the shelf. Might as well utilize them for something. I spent a lot of time in the military, a lot of time working for government, and drank a lot of coffee during that time period. Most of the time I only drink 1 cup a day. I just never let the cup run out. That's why, anybody asks you how much coffee you drink, I just drink a cup. This project is only going to take a few pieces of your scrap wood. What you need to do is gather up 4 pieces is what I got here in my hand. The longest of these pieces is 11 inches. So I've already built 1 or 2 of these, so I'm going to go ahead and show you. Here's the birdhouse with a coffee can. You got your front, you got your hole in here. This hole is 1.5 inches. Each type of bird requires a different size hole, so you just got to go with what size you want to build. Of course, the front 1.5 inch hole down here at the bottom, you got a hole for a dowel rod. This happens to be a 3/8 inch dowel rod. That's what I had on hand. So the first part, I'm going to give you the dimensions of everything you need to build this birdhouse. You're going to need 1 piece, which is 5.5 inches wide by 11 inches long. It can be longer than 11 inches if you want to. 11 is not a steadfast number. It just depends on how high you want it. You're going to need 2 pieces that are 5.5 inches wide by 9.25 inches long. This is going to be your roof. Now you want to take one of those pieces after you get them cut, and you want to cut the width down to 5 inches. That way when you put them together up here, your peak is going to line up, ridges are going to line up, make it look a lot better. You'll need an additional piece, which is 5.5 inches by 9 inches long. This piece here, your front, is going to have a 45-degree cut in the top. You're going to need a dowel rod. I happen to have a 3/8 inch dowel rod. Dowel rod's going to be about 8.5 inches long when you get done with it. A coffee can, of course, you're going to need a coffee can. Like I say, I got a bunch of these. You don't have to use this specific kind. You can use metal cans, or I just happen to get these on a regular basis. The coffee can is 6.25 inches from front to the bottom, so it's 6.25 inches deep, which is a good size for a bird nest. You're going to need wood glue, Titebond 3 wood glue, and what I'm using is 1-inch brad nail. And that's all you're really going to need to put this project together once you get all your parts and pieces cut. What we're going to do now is we'll go ahead and start cutting our pieces. We'll do that over at the miter saw. We'll go ahead and shift over. I've already took the opportunity to lay out some marks on my wood off camera. You'll measure these pieces out. Go ahead and get your mark set up. Of course, your top piece, you only got 1 cut, 9.25 inches. So we'll go ahead and set that up. Match up the ends down here. Set your miter saw at 0. Line up, and we'll go ahead and make that cut. Now, I suggest you go ahead and wear ear protection. I wear ear protection running all this equipment. You ain't got but 1 set of ears. You need to make sure you keep them available. This is going to be your top part. Here, once we get done using the miter saw, we'll go swing over to the table saw and we'll trim one of these down. The other part that you need to do on the miter saw is your front. This front piece is going to be 9 inches, so measure from here down 9 inches, and I'll go ahead and cut that off. Got my 9 inches cut off. I've also drew a line, center of the board is 5.5 inches, so 2 3/4 is 5.5 inches, half of 5.5 inches. And I marked one side here 45-degree angle, so that's the next cut we're going to make, is we're going to cut both sides at 45. Now you only see one mark here. I put the other one on the other side, because I got to flip my board over. That way I ain't got to flip my miter saw back and forth. So we'll go ahead and set this up at 45 degrees. Make our first cut. Line up your mark. Make your cut. And instead of swinging around this way, we'll just flip it over, and I got my other mark. This lines up with this peak right here. Get that lined up. Go ahead and make your cut. That's the only cut you really need on the front. Next thing we need to do to the front is we'll drill our hole for the bird entrance, and then we'll drill our hole for the dowel rod to hold this together. We'll go ahead and shift over to the table saw, and I'll cut down the roof piece. I've gone ahead and got my table saw set up. I'll measure out 5 inches. Take a look here, figure out which one you want to cut to 5 inches. It really doesn't matter. We'll set this other one aside. Always make sure when you're operating a table saw that you have a push stick. Only time you probably really don't need one is if you're cutting a wide board, but then it's questionable. Also, when using your push stick, make sure that you're out here with your push stick. You don't want to come up here and run your push stick along. What's going to happen is it's going to drag your piece out and end up twisting around like that. So you come out here, that way you're pushing more force against your soft edge. Now that I got that piece cut down to 5 inches, we'll go ahead and move back over to the assembly table. Alright, now we're over to the assembly table. What we got to do now, we'll go ahead, we'll drill our hole in here for the bird, and then we'll also drill our 3/8 inch hole for your dowel rod. What I got here is a hole saw. I just need to swap out my drill motor. Put my hole saw in. Get it where I can cut through that hole. Some of these hole saws are spring loaded. It kind of helps push that piece out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this side. I'll go ahead and take this punch and put me a punch mark in there. Kind of center up the hole a little bit. And I'll do the same thing down here with this 1 inch hole. Not this 3/8 inch hole. Let's go ahead and drill a hole through there. What I've done is I went ahead and drilled halfway through. Now I'm going to flip it over, put my drill on the other side, and cut it the rest of the way out. That helps keep from blowout on the other side. Now you got your little bitty wheel that you can use for some other project if you want to. You can take these and hang them on a clothes hanger in the closet and keep your moths and bugs out of your closet if you want to. Now what I need to do now is drill my hole for the wooden dowel. Get my drill bit set in there. This is a 3/8 inch drill bit. Once I get these holes drilled, I'm going to drill through this piece as well as the back piece. I'll drill through them at the same time. I'll also put me a backing plate on there. Have a scrap piece laying around. You know, there wasn't no scrap pieces, but anyway, sacrificial piece is what we're going to use. Go ahead and line these up. Drill our hole for the dowel rod. This is a spade cut bit. Almost made it through, ain't quite made it yet. There we go. Got the hole all the way through. Very little tear out. Still had a little bit, but we didn't have that much. Go ahead and set this stuff out of the way. I dropped this piece on the floor. I had to take the brake wrench down there and pick it up. I guess now what we need to do, y'all seen me pick this piece of wood up off the floor. I like to keep the floor as clean as I can. You know, you can step on the side of that wood and cause your ankle to twist a little bit. We'll go ahead and we'll get ready to start the assembly process here. First thing we're going to assemble is going to be your roof. Go ahead and get that little rough edge there. We'll knock that off with the sanding block. Got your one piece that's 5 1/2, and then you got one piece that's 5. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we'll add us a bead of glue to the 5-inch piece, and I'll stand this up and we'll brad nail it together. That Bond 3 wood glue. Throw your bead of glue down there. Lay it down there, we'll line it up. Take my brad nailer and we'll punch the brad in there. Make sure it's square. Make sure you keep your fingers away from inside here. That brad come through there, it could shoot out the inside. Okay, we got our top assembled. What I'm going to do next is attach it to our back piece. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll line everything up. I'll set my bird nest in there, or coffee can, get it lined up. Get my roof lined up. Set the front on there, and I'll take my dowel rod and I'll go ahead and make sure everything lines up with my dowel rod. Okay, make sure it's center on your backing board here, okay? This is 5 1/2 inches wide, so center of that would be 2 3/4. That right there from the side point to the peak of your roof is 2 3/4. Once you get everything lined up, go ahead and take this part off, holding your roof in place. Go ahead and scribe your line on the inside. That way you know where to glue or where to line it back up at. Take your roof off. We're going to put a bead of glue on your roof. We'll go ahead and line it back up. Making sure that your peak is the center of your backing board. You could draw a line on there, might make it a little bit easier. Let's move over a little bit. You can also make sure that your roof is square going across. Just kind of help line things up a little bit. Once you get your roof lined up, get it set where it needs to be, I'm going to go ahead and push down on it, and I'm going to flip this over. Holding down on the back plate, and I'll throw a couple of brads in there to hold that back piece in place. To help me brad nail the rest of this, I'll throw my square down there so I can see it on both sides, and it'll be flush against the side of this top piece, and I can pretty much eyeball putting a couple brads in there to line it up. We'll do the same thing on this other side. Basically going straight up to the point. And you got that backing plate in place. Okay? Now, the can is 6 1/4 inches long. So what I'll do to help place the top or the front is I'll measure from the back 6 1/2 inches. Put me a mark. And I'll do that on both sides. Once I get that mark in, I'll throw my square on there and scribe me line down the side. That way when I set my front piece in there, I got that line to guide me on when I brad nail it in place. So what I'll do now is I'll set my Birdhouse coffee can in there. Got my dowel rod going through the front. Throw me a bead of glue. Slide it in there on top. And ease that dowel rod down into that hole. Once you get that done, you got everything lined up, you can come back around here at your 6 1/2 inch mark and throw some brads in there. And that'll help hold everything in place. Keep your fingers out of the way. There you go. That basically completes the build of your birdhouse, with the exception of cutting off this rod here. I say your rod needs to be about 8 1/2 inches long, so we'll go out here and we'll mark us a spot. Pull it out and we'll go over to the bandsaw and cut it off, and we'll come back to you here in just a second. Got my dowel rod cut off. Go ahead and feed it through there. Feed it into the back hole. A little bit snug. Okay. That completes the birdhouse project. I got my dowel rod fit in there. It's a little bit cocked a little bit, but you know, that's not making sure everything got a little twisted on me there. Got a little side holes here for ventilation. Bird go in through there. Now you can decorate this up if you want to. You can put like a chimney on there or whatever. The only thing left I need to do here is I'll drill me a hole in the back where I can screw it to the post or to the tree, wherever you're going to put your bird out. Now when you need to clean your bird out, you just got to pull this rod out Once you pull that rod out, the coffee can comes right out. You clean out your birdhouse. Basically carry it back out there, put it back together. And with that said, I got the completed birdhouse project here. Alright, you see it doesn't really take that long to put one of these together. Utilizing things that people would normally throw away goes to the landfill. Utilizing them to make a bird habitat in your own community. You got your leftover pieces from your fence pickets. Plus, if you're like me and you drink a lot of coffee, then you got sufficient amount of these coffee cans laying around. And if you don't drink coffee, I'm sure you can find somebody in your neighborhood that has they're coffee connoisseurs. Homegrown coffee, not none of that foo-foo coffee stuff. With that said, I appreciate y'all watching these videos. We're doing fairly decent. If y'all get y'all to like, share, subscribe, feel free to make any comments or suggestions on any of these, and we'll go from there. It's going to be warm today, so with that said, this is Old Dog Woodshop. We're out of here. Y'all be safe and try to stay cool.